All right, I think this will work. There's a glare in my glasses, so I'm having to change the position. It's still January 1st, 2023. This is Wendy. I wanted to say a few other things while it was still quiet around my house. We were talking about surrender, and I told you all about my testimony. And I wanted to tell you about how you could understand when you're hearing from the Holy Spirit, because that's very important to what you're about to be discovering. And it'll help you a lot along the way. So, a guy I follow, his name is Lewis Herms. He is amazing. You can find him at Screw Big Gov. He said it this way. You know that it is God talking to you because it's the first thing that pops into your head. It's real simple. God's very simple. The truth is very simple. And we have this thing in between our ears called a brain. And in the middle of our brain, there is a gland called the pineal gland. And nobody seems to know anything about it. But it's our antenna to God. And they've done all kinds of things to calcify our pineal glands so that we can't hear from our Creator, because they hate us, because we are God's children, and they're not, and they never will be, no matter how many sacrifices they perform, or evil deeds they do, or how much money and power they have. They'll never be who we are, and they know it. And they're scared to death of us finding out who we really are and taking back our power, especially if too many of us do. So, the first two things I started doing that are very easy to do is I stopped using toothpaste that had fluoride in it. Stop that right now. They're not putting good mineral fluoride in your toothpaste. They're putting toxic waste in there. It's not good for you. Quit using it. I know that's hard to believe. It's hard to understand that anybody would want to poison somebody else. They do. Trust me. The other thing you need to try to do, and it's harder than the toothpaste, you got to stop using Teflon pans. Cast iron with enamel on top of it. If you can season it real good, cast iron's great. Use avocado oil. 450 degrees for an hour. Turn it upside down on top of a pie pan or a baking sheet or aluminum foil or something, because it will drip. Do the inside and the outside 3 times. Then put some kind of oil in it and deep fry something in that sucker. And it's going to work real good for you after that. I cooked scrambled eggs in mine today and it didn't stick. It was a miracle. When you wash your cast iron, just rinse it off. Use a very little bit of soap and dry it, and then put it on the stove on medium, and then I usually let it heat up to medium and then just turn it off so all the water will evaporate out of it, because moisture is your enemy with cast iron. You want to get all that moisture out of there, and I just leave mine on top of the stove because they're heavy. I'd rather use Teflon, but knowing that it's going to block my connection to my Creator, and something else lovely it does is it decreases the size of our male, our men, their male anatomy. It decreases the size of it. So ladies, you get your men off of that too. We need that sucker to work right. What else can you do? If you have a way to stop drinking the city water and use well water, or get water from an artesian well if there's one near where you live, do that. Because, or I think you can buy these things. I would imagine that if you, what do they call that? When you evaporate your water and then catch it. I can't think of it right now. But I imagine if you did that, it would get the fluoride out of it too. If you think of it, leave a comment. Help my brain out for a minute. But yeah, anything you can do to stop. They put toxic waste in our drinking water. Lovely. So stop drinking the drinking water if you can. And we all need to be down there at the waterworks, or whoever your water department people are in your town, asking them what the hell's going on with the water and why are they putting poison in it. They need to stop that. You know, it's absolutely incredible. Do the people that work there even know what they're doing? Because surely they're giving it to their families too. It's ridiculous. One day we're going to be past all this. But these are my tips for right now with your pineal gland. So it doesn't take long from what I've experienced. And there's other detoxification remedies that you can do that will help with that also. There's a bunch of different stuff on the market. Root Brands sells a thing called the Trinity that will, it sounds amazing. I haven't taken it, so I don't know that much more about it. I have done Epsom salt, borax, and bentonite clay baths. That is Carrie Madej's detox remedy for the thing they put in your arm that they shouldn't have been putting in your arm. That works. My husband got one of those things they put in your arm and made me real sick. I'm trying to figure out how much to tell about this. But I started drinking pine needle tea. So if you live in the South and you have pine trees, you can get pine needles right outside your back door or around the corner, and make you some tea out of that and drink it, and that'll help. Gets the spike protein out of your blood. But you still need to detox from the graphene oxide, and get that out of your system too. Sorry about that glare. But decalcifying your pineal gland is very important. And I have a visitor. So once you are able to identify God speaking to you, everything's just real simple after that. You accept that when you start telling people about it, that's hard because they think you're crazy. And I guess I'm doing this video for you because everyone around me has already heard it. And they either put up with me and a lot of people in my family think I'm nuts, but I'm not. I've done countless hours of research into all of these things. And I've done it myself. And I know that it's the truth. Because the truth is also real simple. And you know how when an opera singer breaks a crystal glass with her voice, I'm not even going to attempt to make any sound like that. It's because the resonance in the frequency of the opera singer's voice matches the resonance in the crystal. It's the same frequency. See, what holds our bodies together and our cells together is frequency and electricity. And they lied to us about that too. But it's simple physics. You can't have two cells that are just held together by nothing. There's an energy between them that holds them together. It's actually the God force energy that holds those cells together. But we'll call it frequency and energy right now. Sorry, I got a little sidetracked. So frequency breaks glasses when you match the resonance of the crystal with the frequency of your voice, if you're that talented. You can also determine the truth by how it resonates with you. You know, we have to start learning to trust our intuition because it's given to us by God. They've done a lot of things to us. They've MK Ultra'd us. They've poisoned us. They have brainwashed us with the frequency and the music and what they put on television for us and our children to watch. So if you're breaking out of that, congratulations. Now it's time for you to learn to think for yourself. And that's really easy to do. You're smart. You're intelligent. You're created by God. You have a spirit inside of you. I think you have a spirit inside of you, whether you're Muslim, Christian, Buddhist, Hindu. My doctor's Hindu. He's amazing. He's one of the most loving people I've ever met. There's no difference between he and I. So, just listen to your intuition, and it'll tell you what the truth is. That's another thing that we need to start doing better. We need to start not allowing them to divide us any longer. They've done that for a long time. We need to start respecting one another and seeing what we can learn from one another, no matter what our beliefs are. The division that they've led us to believe that is between us is not created by God. It's created by the devil. And he's the father of all lies. So if there's a reason that he's wanting to divide us, then we need to find out what it is, because it's probably something that's beneficial to us. I have a very good friend that we've been friends since junior high. She is a Reiki master and a healer. And as a Christian, for years, I thought she was crazy. But I loved her, and I knew she had a really good heart, and I knew she wanted to help people. So, I never judged her, and she never judged me. And now that I've awakened to how our bodies work, in a scientific respect and a spiritual respect, I realized that she was right about everything that she was doing the whole time. It's, I think, what spiritualists have that Christians don't have is they understand how our bodies are designed and the tools that God gave us for our bodies to work properly, for our energies to flow properly, for us to be able to communicate with our Creator the way that we should. They know those things. We were never taught that in the Christian church. It makes me wonder why. Somebody in the Christian church didn't want us to know how powerful we were. They didn't want us to be healthy and happy. I don't know why. I often wonder. I'm sure that our local pastors mean well. And I'm sure that they're just deceived, and they're just like the rest of us were before we woke up. They're just doing what they were taught. They didn't know any better. But now that the truth is coming out and we're starting to know better, we have to do better. And we need to learn how our bodies work. We need to learn how to have a close connection with God and how to trust Him in everything we do. And who knows? Maybe one day we'll know how to fly. Because we're coming very close to that time where there's not going to be any more pain and any more suffering here on earth. Christ is coming to redeem His church. That's what's happening right now. He is refining us through the fire of this time that's been so difficult since COVID. Because God's not coming back. I heard a black preacher say this, and he said it's so good. He's not coming back for some skanky, washed up church to be His bride. He's coming back for a holy, set apart, righteous church that really loves Him and will do anything to serve Him. And that's one thing on my awakening journey that I have found. These people who I'm telling you have been so brave and told the truth about what's been going on in the world, so many of them have had experiences like me, where either they didn't want to live anymore or they almost died, and God kept them here and brought them back for a reason. If you're waking up and this video is interesting to you and you want to know more, then